Alice stands up and commands the men to release Jill, warning them that if they don't, she'll take them down. As she tries to use magic to break her own bonds, she realizes she can't. The collar she's wearing is suppressing her abilities. One of the men grabs Jill by the neck, punching him hard and knocking him to the ground. Seeing Alice, Jill urgently tells her to run and escape through the north side, but before he can say more, he's struck down again. Alice steels herself, regains her composure, and takes down one of the attackers, glaring at the others and declaring that the only trash here is them. Alice calls for Jill to get up, but he can't, his leg broken. She quickly understands that even though they are supposedly in a game, the pain and injuries feel all too real. Using some hidden knives, she manages to cut his bonds. She is unwilling to let Jill die, and she can't afford to lose her own life either. Moving quickly, she neutralizes two of the remaining men. Jill, watching in shock, notes that despite the danger, Alice remains calm and avoids causing fatal injuries. Finally, she confronts the last man. She quickly disarms him, and when she realizes he is defeated, she attempts to escape. With precise aim, Alice throws a stick, tripping him and leaving him helpless. With him at her mercy, she raises her knife, but at the last moment twists the blade. Just then, Liz appears and uses her magic to restrain Alice, thinking she is about to harm the man. Jill immediately tries to explain that the real enemy is the man on the ground, but he takes advantage of the moment to pounce on Alice, while she remains defenseless. At that moment, the prince appears, taking the blow intended for her. Shortly after, the guards arrive and arrest the men and their accomplices. Alice explains to Duke that they were attacked. Meanwhile, Henri rushes to check on Jill and promises to treat her wounds immediately. Relieved, Alice collapses to the ground to catch her breath. Duke, noticing her numerous wounds, is filled with fury. Their classmates soon arrive, worried about Liz. Seeing Alice, Albert initially shows concern, but Liz quickly accuses Alice of trying to kill a defenseless man. Jill immediately clarifies, explaining that the men attacked him first and that Alice was only protecting him. Albert, hearing this, comments that reasoning would have been better than resorting to violence. Alice asks if, in a situation where his family was threatened, he wouldn't draw his sword. Albert replies that he wouldn't. In response, Alice tells him that he seems to have lost his pride as a knight. Liz intervenes, arguing that violence only leads to more violence, and that it's easy to understand why they should avoid it. Alice dismisses this, saying that thinking like that is foolish when he was on the verge of death. Liz retorts that Alice did not die, and that if she had had faith, Liz would have saved her, trusting in their bond of friendship. Alice can't believe what she's hearing, and wonders if all heroines think like this nowadays. Liz goes on to say that Duke came to save her because he had faith. But Duke, visibly upset, invokes his ice magic against Liz, telling her that he didn't come for her, and that she needs to get off her pedestal. Liz, scared, tries to fight back with magic, but Duke insists, saying that if Alice hadn't fought back, they wouldn't have survived. She wonders how anyone can still believe that Liz is the saint. Curtis steps in to calm things down and heals Alice. She tries to thank him, but struggles to speak, spitting out a tooth from the blow she received earlier. Liz tries to help, but Duke stops her, saying that they'll take care of Alice. Liz quickly says that she doesn't want anyone to think that she doesn't care if they live or die. Alice replies that she knows that Liz wouldn't tolerate anyone being killed. However, she adds that if she were in the same situation again, she wouldn't hesitate to do the same, preferring that to dying. The lovers tell Liz that Alice still doesn't understand what really matters, but that one day she will. After they leave, Liz wonders aloud if Duke might have feelings for Alice. The boy whose name I don't remember, I think it was Gil. Well, he reassures her, saying that Duke probably only sees Alice as a sister. Supposedly reassured, Liz comments that she worries about Alice, since she knows she struggles to make friends, but if Duke also cares about her, well, that makes her happy. Although it seems like she really thinks something completely different. Meanwhile, Duke and Henry, carrying Alice and Jill, continue on their way. Alice asks Duke to put her down, insisting that she can walk on her own. He replies that he should think about Jill since he wouldn't want his lady walking around hurt. In a serious tone, Duke tells Alice that she has the right to do whatever she wants, as long as she doesn't put her life in danger. Alice wonders if, deep down, the prince really cares about her, but she knows that in the end he will end up with the heroine, so she doesn't understand why her heart beats so fast for him. Later, when she wakes up, she finds Duke asleep beside her. Alice tries to calm herself down, but she can't stop thinking about him. Her little devil voice whispers to her that this is the perfect opportunity to seduce the prince and get the jump on the heroine, while her angel side urges her to remain honorable and not exploit her goodness. A small debate ensues between her good and evil sides, though she has to admit that it feels strange challenge to be an honorable villain. For now, she decides to stay focused and hold back. Duke, already awake, shows Alice a collar he retrieved from one of the men's pockets, the same one he gave her years ago. He asks Alice to come closer so he can put it on her. She agrees, and as they get closer, he holds her as if he's about to kiss her. But just then, Henri and Jill enter the room, and a startled Alice pushes Duke to the floor. Henri says he doesn't object to his sister having that kind of relationship, but asks Duke if she's given him permission. From the ground, Duke replies that he hasn't even touched her. Once everyone calms down, Jill explains to Alice that Henri has healed both of them. However, Alice seems the most exhausted, which is why it took her longer to wake up. Jill hands her the tooth she lost, but Alice doesn't think much of it. Jill asks if he can keep it, mentioning he's heard that teeth hold memories, and he doesn't want to forget what happened that day. Frustrated that, even as her student, he couldn't protect her, Jill expresses his desire to become stronger for her sake. Henri, witnessing this, tells Jill that he will grow into a fine man. They then discuss the attack and learn that the person behind it is a student from the academy named Neil Johnson, a devoted follower of Liz. During a recent meeting in the garden, Neil looked at Alice as if he wanted to kill her. Alice finds it interesting that he managed to deceive her, but she says he won't get away with it. She'll find a way to make him pay. Henri, amused, tells her that the last time he saw that man, he was already half dead in Duke's arms. He adds that the Johnson family has already been punished by the royal family, as it is forbidden to remove the anti-magic collar from its place, and they endangered a student's life and helped criminals enter the academy. However, Duke suspects that his father orchestrated the incident, probably seeing it as an opportunity for Liz to gain experience. Duke reveals that during his interrogation, the mastermind confessed that the king sent someone to inform Liz of Alice's whereabouts, hoping that she would handle the situation and become stronger as a saint. Jill is shocked by how important the saint is to them. Alice explains that according to legend, the holy girl is destined to save the kingdom, though she herself is proof that anyone can stand in her way. Duke reveals that during his interrogation, the mastermind confessed that the king sent someone to inform Liz of Alice's whereabouts, hoping that she would handle the situation and become stronger as a saint. Jill is shocked by how important the saint is to them. Alice explains that according to legend, the holy girl is destined to save the kingdom, though she herself is proof that anyone can stand in her way. Duke apologizes to Alice for her father's actions. Jill asks if, as a prince, Duke plans to marry Liz. Alice assumes this would be the case. Despite her feelings for him, she knows he is destined to be with the heroine. To her surprise, Duke replies that he has no intention of marrying Liz because he doesn't plan to follow anyone else's wishes. If he wants happiness, he'll have to make his own decisions. Jill apologizes for her earlier bluntness, admitting that she didn't understand why Duke was interested in Alice if he was going to marry Liz. Now she respects Duke more. Jill also asks if, as a commoner, he will be punished for speaking disrespectfully to royalty. Duke places a hand on Jill's head and tells her that status doesn't matter. They both just want to protect Alice. Seeing them, Alice is unsure of how to react. Later in the library, Alice reminds herself that she needs to toughen up so she won't be caught off guard again. She also notices that recent events and people's behavior are starting to differ from how they played out in-game. Later, when trying to train, she realizes that she can't progress beyond level 80, which leaves her stuck. Jill assures her that reaching level 80 is already a great achievement and reminds her of Will's advice about not rushing. Alice acknowledges this but can't settle for that if she wants to be a villain. Jill asks if she would rather be the prince's wife than a villain, as that seems to be what he wants. Blushing, Alice replies that she doesn't want to be remembered as just someone's wife. Besides, that would be boring. She wants to be remembered for her own accomplishments, and for that, she needs to be the villain who stands in the way of the holy girl. Soon, Alice is summoned by her father. Determined, he tells her that he won't allow her to be Liz Cather's supervisor any longer. Alice reminds him that supervising Liz was a condition for her entry into the academy. Her father replies that she can enter when she turns 15 like everyone else. There's no need for so much trouble. He adds that if he had known that taking the job would put her in danger, he would never have accepted it. She regrets not having considered that being the most hated would lead to her facing many enemies, for despite her brilliance, she is still a 13-year-old girl. Alice understands her father's concern, but stubbornly refuses to give up and asks for another chance. He refuses, not wanting her to be in danger again. Defiant, Alice admits that she acted slowly last time, but reminds him that she still has the highest magic level in the academy. She just needs to stay alert. Her father is quick to point out that Liz Cather is above level 80 in all elements, and even if Alice is above average, she cannot compete with Liz. The condition for her to continue as Liz's supervisor is that she reach level 90. Alice asks how this is possible. Given that he previously told her it was impossible at her age, she agrees, but tells him that it will be the last time he imposes any last-minute conditions on her. Without another word, she leaves. Later, she secludes herself in a small house, determined to train with no one around. He decides that he will reach level 90, no matter what. If you've reached this point in the video, don't forget to leave the word Exquisito in the comments. Thank you very much, and see you in the next video.